Hey, welcome to another episode of It Resolves. My name is Kevin.
My name is Will. I've been exerted. My exerted effect is I come in and do a podcast. So, yes.
Oh, wait, what's all on here?
Exerted,
Brick counters.
eternal bricks, because everyone plays with bricks.
Oh, you commander, please.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Is it really on my... Wow, I got a stick.
Yeah, nice job.
Thanks for joining us and hanging out, listening or watching, wherever you're doing it, how you're doing it. YouTube, the podcast app, SoundCloud, of course. And you know you can contact us, get in touch with us, interact on Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, Instagram, and Twitch. Really, you can see us streaming some games on Twitch.
Yeah,
I say us. I really mean Alex and
I was gonna say,
Parks.
in fact, as we're speaking and recording this episode, I think Parks is actually recording.
Streaming
I'm
right
really
now.
trying hard to find a way to put this somewhere, but we'll do it
We
later.
gotta tape them.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, go
All
check us
over.
out. Go check out Twitch. We do really enjoy watching Parks and Alex and sometimes hanging out with them on stream. They're
that's
doing
so
a
well.
fantastic job.
Heck yeah.
Alex has his road to 100 wins. I don't know what his record is as of right now.
I think he won the last game he streamed.
Okay.
I think he picked up another one. I think he's like 6-4, dude.
I think he is. Yeah, I think you're right. I know the last episode went up yesterday.
Okay, if here's a counter ask. If Alex gets to 100 wins before 50 losses, does he get to do something to us?
He gets to do something to you. Not to me.
I have no control over this. All right.
Maybe both of us.
I'm fine with that.
It would have to be both of us, just to be fair. I guess, okay, it's team stream versus team podcast, right?
I guess, yeah.
So if Alex
stream,
doesn't win,
Team
I think we
stream
should
and the
do
cast
something
core.
to both Alex and Parks. If he
Oh,
wins, they both get to do something to us. I think that seems fair.
Well,
I don't want that to happen.
all right. if you are listening and in a place and so inclined, please comment or
Yeah,
email.
let us
Just
know.
let us know. Find some way, your favorite way to connect. Let us know what should happen.
Maybe this is the time that you can email us.
Yeah, honestly, it is. Suggestions and what you think should go down. I'm open to anything. I have no shame.
I just realized something.
What's up, dog?
My beard's looking a little scraggly today.
What's that, man?
I just haven't trimmed it in like a week, so it's getting all fuzzy. I know this is really important to this
same.
episode, but
No, I think our success hinges on your beard.
you think so?
Yes.
Alex seems to think so.
I think he does.
Kind of in love with the beard.
If you could grow it Gandalf-esque,
Okay,
kind of tickling your clavicle.
right.
Thou knowest where the clavicle is located.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, funny story about the clavicle.
Okay.
So, back when I was dating,
This did not. It took 3.5 minutes for us to get here.
it's gonna get even better. So, I'm dating my wife, but this is in high school. So, girlfriend at the time, who's
Okay.
now my wife. Some year, we're like sitting on her couch, like snuggling. You know how weird, awkward
Yeah.
high school couples do.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Man, you have a prominent clavicle." And I go, "Yeah, my nose." I had no idea what a
Are you
clavicle was.
serious?
Yeah, I just guessed.
You guessed so wrong. I mean, it could have been worse, but you guessed pretty wrong.
No, I was way off. Like,
That's like, first of all, okay, we're so off topic. Who cares? All right. For her, first off, to say that's like a really weird thing to say.
she was
to a
like
person.
resting her head and trying to get situated.
No, I know, but
and like,
How long have you guys been dating at that point?
at that point, a few months maybe.
Okay, see, and I feel like it's a weird thing to say. Like, if you guys were married and you're like, hey, you got a prominent clavicle, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
That's not weird. I don't think so, man.
I think it's a weird thing to say.
Kevin, we talked about butts the other day, you and I.
Yeah, but we've been dating for longer.
That's fair. That's fair.
So,
It's been a while.
plot twist. No.
No, that is, again, married.
Yeah.
And that is off the table.
Oh, no, I'm not married.
I've turned him down many a time. Kevin, buddy, what the heck are we talking about today?
We're talking about some Modern.
Wonderful.
We are doing our format breakdown of Modern. We didn't go. Fun fact, we tried to think of like clever names to call this like mini series that we've been doing. Last week was standard.
Weird,
yeah, it all felt weird. We were like format frenzy and like stupid stuff. And then I like went to go post the video having still not decided on a name. I don't think we ever decided on one.
It's fine.
And I was just like, well, it's a breakdown of a format, so format breakdown.
It kind of works.
The most generic thing in the world. But hey,
we need to start just a mini series metal band just for these few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a format breakdown. We go into our segment and it just plays.
All right. Well, with every filler fun day or filler Friday, however you want to call it, we do not start off with the random card of the day.
No.
We start off with a Geeky Weekly.
A little more informative.
Yes.
This time.
And you actually brought up the Geeky Weekly this time.
I did. This
You're,
is one
like this is your second.
2 for 2, dude.
2 for 2. I like it.
Whoop, whoop.
Means I don't have to do it. That's nice.
That's fair. So yeah, this is a really cool one. It's in Pauper, and it's a silly but very what's the word I'm looking for? Applicable, viable combo. That's the one I want. Yeah. So it's actually its own deck in Pauper right now as well. So it's the Tireless Tribe and Inside Out combo.
Ooh. I love that there's a card called Inside Out.
Yeah, it's great.
It just makes me happy. I know that's like a random thing to say, but
I thought you were gonna say Tireless Tribe for a moment.
No.
I was gonna ask you why. I don't know why in my mind.
I think Inside Out is cool.
It is.
It makes me think of.
It's
Eve
got
6.
neat art too. Wait, what'd you say?
Makes me think of Eve 6. That really terrible band.
What?
Okay, if you know the song Inside Out by Eve 6, comment below that you know it, because apparently Will doesn't.
Burn like a wicker basket. That song?
Yes.
Chalk White, No So Frail.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, now you get it.
I'm there. I had to think, you know why? Because that's the only song anyone knows by Eve 6.
Yeah, no, because they're a terrible band.
But that's a really good song.
But yeah, it is a really good song.
Okay, anyway. So Tireless Tribe, Eve 6, the combo. It works like this. Tireless Tribe is a 1-drop for 1, white specifically, that says discard a card, gets +0/+4 until end of turn. Basically, worse Feral Mongrel.
Yeah.
Inside Out is an instant for 1 colorless, 1 hybrid blue or red that says change target creature's power and toughness until the end of turn, draw a card. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Here's all you do. Turn 1, Tireless Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 2, discard a bunch of cards, leaving up Inside Out, cast Inside Out. Tippity tap. Swing in and do it. That's it. And it is brutally effective. You win on turn 2. That's
the goal, yeah.
Yeah, kind of crazy in Pauper.
I'm really surprised that this isn't banned in Pauper. For being a turn 2
here's the thing.
Yeah.
All you need to do is block Tireless Tribe.
You're right.
That's the thing. If you have a 1-drop, you're safe on turn 2. On turn 3, they get different things that make it unblockable. They can bounce your guy and kill your guy, do all that stuff. Fair.
Yeah.
But if you have a 1-drop out, you're at least safe.
Sure.
For another
that's fair.
Turn. It's very easy to kind of just jump ahead of this if this is their only in. Yeah. Now it can sneak up on you.
I was gonna say, I feel like it'd be really easy to sort of sneak out wins with it, but
also another thing to consider, like trickery. I know.
Yes.
I'm about to.
He admitted it. Everybody heard it. It took 52 episodes.
I said I only said trickery.
No, I know, but I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, so you switch its power of toughness. Its toughness becomes 1. Anything kills it.
Like electrickery.
It's an instant, right?
I think so. Honestly, I don't know because I don't actually play it. But...
If it's a sorcery, Kevin, I'm just gonna punch you. Because you'll be so wrong.
That would be really mean.
You don't even know.
I don't know. I think it's an instant.
It has to be. All right, you're safe.
No punching today.
I don't even know how to punch.
I don't either.
Anyway, please don't mug me. Anyway,
I've never been in a fight before.
Yeah, Pauper, alive and well with the combos.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's sweet.
I'm really happy to see a Pauper combo, bringing some light to the cheaper formats. It was
my pleasure.
I really like Pauper just as a format. We'll get to it in our format breakdown. I'm assuming.
We will.
But
we're eschewing those kind of towards the end, right?
Yeah, I think we're doing Commander and Pauper towards the end.
Cool.
I don't think we're gonna be touching on things like Frontier.
Not yet.
There's just not. I don't think there's enough behind Frontier yet to really talk about it.
I would like to, but until there's organized tournaments, until there's a meta,
right.
I don't see a need to.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You can start brewing decks now though if you like.
Yeah, please do.
Right.
And share deck lists with us because we'd like to actually playtest with some of this stuff.
Heck yeah.
I know somebody shared a deck list with Parks on stream. And he did a call out to them on our Instagram, so thank you. I wish I remembered your name. I don't. But thank you for whoever did suggest that, because I know he's actually playing with it, I believe, now.
Oh, wow.
As we speak.
Sweet.
So we do appreciate that.
Awesome.
But yeah, so today, as part of our format breakdown, as mentioned, we are going over Modern. And we sort of have 5 points that we're going to touch on. We're going to say what is Modern, the history of Modern, how it is in its current state.
Yes.
Where and how would you play it, and then how would you get good at Modern?
Yeah. How do you become a Modern master?
That was smooth. All right, Will.
Yo.
Tell us what Modern is.
I'd love to. Modern, one of, I'd say, a fan favorite. It is beloved by many. Not a lot of people dislike Modern, I think. And if you do, that's fine. I haven't met you. Modern is a great format.
Yeah, it is.
It's the most balanced broken format there is.
I think, yeah, that's a really good way to describe it. So you get a lot of cards. It goes back since 8th edition.
Right.
Is basically when
Should've
this
said
started. And so everything from 8th edition up that's been part of the main sets, not any of the like Conspiracy, that stuff does not count.
No.
But any of the main sets from 8th edition up are Modern legal. And so you do get a lot of interesting cards. It's a very large card pool. It's not as big as Legacy or Vintage, but it's up there. And you do get some very broken decks, some of which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's super cool.
It is. It's
I
very
really
fun.
like Modern.
Modern is great for its efficiency, I'll say.
Yeah.
Just moving away from Standard for a moment, where you don't have as many repeated effects. You can't focus a deck as well, even though, granted, you can. You just kind of end up playing more things for value.
Yeah.
There are less value decks in Modern than there are cohesive, this is my strategy deck, I'll say.
Yeah.
Counter argument to that, of course, is you have Junk, you have Loam, stuff like that.
But I think the majority of decks, I mean, if you're Naya Burn, you're Naya Burn, right? Like, if you're mono red, you're just mono red. Like, you just have low to the ground.
And those are simple decks.
Those are simple, yeah, but you do also have the combo decks like AdNauseam or something like that, which is all in on AdNauseam. If you get it, you win. If you don't, you just lose. Like, that's how it goes.
And excluding a janky deck in Standard. This is our first format we're talking about in the breakdown that gets Storm. So
yes. Thank you. I love Storm.
Yeah, you get a very focused, precise deck with Storm.
Yeah, blue-red Storm.
The best one.
In
Modern,
Legacy.
definitely.
Well, yeah, in Modern. I'm thinking in general. But so in Modern, you do get a lot of varied decks. Some on the combo end, some on the control end, some on the aggro end. A lot of different styles. To go into the history, if I may.
Please do. This is one of my favorite parts about Modern.
So I didn't actually know all of this, so I had to look some of it up beforehand, but apparently Modern originated as an online-only, non-sanctioned format. And that started in May of 2011.
Nice.
Very soon after, August of the same year, it hit its first Pro Tour and became a sanctioned format. Pro Tour Philadelphia was the first to introduce it.
City of brotherly love.
Yeah.
Philly.
Yeah.
Unless you've been to Philly, then you know that is not true.
I don't. Philly's not my favorite place.
Is it not?
Oddly enough, I like Pittsburgh. Weird, right? I went there expecting it to be terrible for a work thing. Turned out to be pretty awesome.
Weird.
It was one of my, as far as work trips go, which I've taken a few now.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite.
Interesting.
Which is weird because I also went to Germany.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like Germany all that much.
You're not a big beer guy, and that's
I'm not a big beer
Germany's
guy.
Wasted on you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wasted. And we do have a mutual friend who loves Philly, so maybe I'll give it another try and not have a
Do
bad
we have
time.
a mutual friend that likes Philly?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is.
He's about yay high.
Okay, I know who it is. If you're listening, you know who you are now.
Sorry about that.
I don't think you are, but I really wish you were. Yeah, so it's been going on now for about 6-7 years, somewhere around that range.
Yeah.
And it's taken the Magic community by storm. Ding.
I'd say so. Yeah, it's very, very fun. And for the most part, it's a super competitive format that's the cheapest to get into aside from Standard.
Yeah.
And I know we just said the last episode Standard's the cheapest, but I say super competitive in that its meta doesn't really change, right?
Yes, to an extent. I mean, there's a lot of varied decks, and I think that's what you're hitting on.
Right.
Like, you're always going to see your Jund decks. You're always going to see your control decks. Those things are always going to be there. Mono red will always be there. And because it's a non-rotating format, that's what allows for this.
That's what I mean. You essentially... And this plays more to lists, and that's part of the mind games of Magic that you have to kind of roll the dice with. But for a matchup, you kind of know how one deck is going to perform against the other.
Absolutely.
When in Standard, I think it's easier to sneak out a win or two against.
I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. And since we're mentioning deck lists, we're going to go over just a few of the deck lists that have been sort of at the top of the game over the past 6-7 years, somewhere in there.
This kind of reinforces the broken
aspect of it. And a lot of these decks, a card or two in them has been banned solely because it has been deemed too good, and we'll talk about why as we go. The first one on the list is Infect. It took Modern by storm early on. Turn 1 Glistener Elf, turn 2 Blazing Shoal, ditching Progenitus, and you win. It was way too broken, way too fast, by far the fastest deck. So Blazing Shoal was immediately banned.
For new listeners, or sorry, that shouldn't be what I say, but newish players, people who may not know what Infect does.
Okay, Infect.
One of my favorite mechanics.
Yeah, so you know how everybody starts off with 20 life?
I do, yes, Kevin.
Okay, imagine starting with only 10. So here's how Infect works. Basically, Infect creatures deal their damage, not in points as to a life total or anything like that, but instead with poison counters. So for instance, a Glistener Elf is a 1/1 elf with Infect. When you swing in and it connects with the opponent, you deal 1 Infect damage, equating to a poison counter to that player. When they have 10 poison counters, they lose.
That seems good.
Yeah, so make it a lot quicker.
Seriously.
So Infect has been a deck, obviously, after that. By no means is a bad deck or anything like that. As of right now, it's really not hitting anywhere. But it snuck out turn 2 wins just way too quickly in the early game. And it was just ridiculous.
It wasn't really a sneak, right? Because there were multiple ways to do that.
Yeah.
You could Berserk plus...
Berserk's not in Modern.
It's not in Modern.
No. It was just Blazing Shoal, but you had a lot of things to ditch to it. Progenitus being the main one, because basically you just had to pitch a red creature instead of paying the Blazing Shoal mana cost. And then the creature that you targeted with Blazing Shoal got +X/+X, where I think it was the power and toughness of that creature or something like that. I don't remember right off. But I mean, you just pump it. And you win. I mean,
sure.
That's all it was. And it was very, very good. Blighted Agent is also a very well-known Infect creature.
Yeah, 1 colorless, a blue. Unblockable in Infect?
Unblockable in Infect.
Seems fair.
Seems fair. You also, in a lot of deck lists with Infect, you get things like Noble Hierarch is just very good with the Exalted triggers. Pendlehaven is another good one for that, as well as Inkmoth Nexus as a land. So you get a lot of Infect stuff, a lot of help. You just play pump spells and you swing in, and that's it.
If you're dying to lose all your friends in your Commander play group, the rules for Infect haven't changed in Commander. You know how you start with 40 life? You start with 10.
You start with 10 there too.
So Atraxa, proliferate seems pretty good.
Seems pretty good. So another deck that we're going to talk about is Affinity. Which is still very much a competitively viable deck. You still see quite a lot of Affinity. Ravager is just way too good. That's what it amounts to. It's very fast. Steel Overseer, I believe, is the card that pumps all of your artifacts. And so you just play a bunch of very quick things that are all artifacts, and then you get to draw a bunch and do it all again.
Mirror Enforcer and just fat things that are on the onset vanilla, but you play them on turn 2.
Yeah.
So your board is very large very quickly.
It gets very large very quickly. It dies to sweepers, obviously, and things like that, but overall it's a very powerful deck. Always has been, always will be.
And you also get like Ensoul Artifact and other funky things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Another deck that, again, the namesake card was banned at one point. It still is. Birthing Pod.
Thank goodness this
Some
is
people
banned.
will remember this era. There were a lot of different versions of Pod. There was Kiki Pod. There was Court of Calling with Pod. There was
Dark Time.
Malira Pod. I mean, there was tons of different variants of the deck. Basically, Malira or Birthing Pod said sack a creature, go get a creature with converted mana cost equal +1,
Yep.
and put it on the battlefield. So you just got to level up all of your creatures. Is essentially what it amounted to. And basically the combo in the deck was you get Malira out, and then you get Kitchen Finks or you get Murderous Redcap, and you just kind of keep sacking and dealing damage or gaining life, and it doesn't really, you get it all back.
Right.
And it worked really well with Voice of Resurgence, which as you sacked it, you still got another creature basically.
Yep.
There was just so many good combos with it in such a powerful deck. And that card was just way too good. So they immediately, well, not immediately, it actually ravaged for a while, but it was banned eventually.
Kevin mentioned a lot of ways, a lot of different decks that it hit. There was Birthing Pod essentially broke so many things open.
Yeah.
It made tons of cards way better than they were. Birthing Pod was a nasty era.
Super good. And to sort of play to decks that needed banning, or cards that needed banning, Splinter Twin was another one.
Oh,
a little more
amen.
recent.
Hate it more than Birthing Pod.
Yeah, so this was just a deck that snuck out wins. I mean,
It was no sneak. Again.
well, it was expected, but because everything had flash, it was basically a Pestermite Deceiver Exarch deck with Splinter Twins. So basically, you just Splinter Twin the Deceiver Exarch or the Pestermite, and then get millions of them, and
an infinite,
literally infinite number of them, and swing in an attack. And because you can play the Pestermite or the Deceiver Exarch on your opponent's turn, it makes it even easier to make that happen, because turn 3 on your opponent's turn, you play it, untap with it, it now can attack and do this whole thing, and you're on turn 4, so you Splinter Twin it.
Yes, and Splinter Twin gives everything haste. And
Exactly.
It's just nasty.
It also ran Kiki Jiki as an alternate way to make the duplicates.
Right.
But it was a control deck, blue-red control deck with Splinter Twin. That's it.
With a combo. It essentially turned control decks... what's the word? What did I use earlier? The turn phrase.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
A thing that you said.
It's optimal turn. That's what I said.
Oh
so it basically lowered its optimal turn, which is the lowest turn it can win by, to about 4. Which, I mean, that's a lot of decks try to do that in Modern, is win by turn 4.
Yeah,
but
I think
not control decks.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. It was too consistent.
Yeah, and that's it's not to say that's why they banned it. They banned it because it was just unfair.
Yeah.
They don't want to not give a control deck a turn 4 win. It's just that this was...
It was too easy to
ridiculous.
Get. It happened way too often. I mean, people would sneak out wins all the time with it, and it's just ridiculous, right? Like, you can't...
Yeah, it's insane.
It dominated the format. It took, I don't know what the percentage was, but the deck lists that were running Splinter Twin, it was an insane amount.
I think so. Honest Magic is when you create a situation or a board state that gets you the win, not after you cast a card. Right. Like there are several cards that say do this and you win, but like Door to Nothingness, for example. But I mean, that's ridiculous. You never get that in a constructed game.
No.
Right. With Splinter Twin, you got to say Pestermite, untap, win.
Yeah.
That's just unfair. With little chance to prevent that.
Yeah, and I will say too, there's an argument that I'm sure somebody will notice that you could say, well, Storm or AdNauseam wins by the same number of turns most of the time. And while that is technically true, it requires so many more moving pieces that it's easy to disrupt. It's a lot easier to disrupt at the very least. And so it's not as consistent. It's not a guaranteed win all the time. It's just not quite as consistent is the word that I would use. I keep coming back to that, but I think
it's true.
That's the word to describe it for sure.
You bring up AdNauseam, and that's a great example of another broken-esque deck that is a lot like Splinter Twin.
It feels broken.
It does, absolutely. Because
when you play it.
AdNauseam, for the folks at home, you want to give it a quick rundown?
Yeah, so basically AdNauseam lets you... I won't go into the explaining every individual card, but essentially you make it using other cards like Phyrexian Unlife or Angel's Grace. You make it so you can't lose on a turn due to life loss. And then you play AdNauseam, which lets you draw a bunch of cards by paying a life,
You draw a card and
pay its mana cost.
Yeah, in life.
That's correct. So you basically play an Angel's Grace or play Phyrexian Life, then draw your deck because it doesn't matter. And then you either win with a Lab Maniac, where if you draw and you have no cards in your deck, you win, or Lightning Storm, using Simian Spirit Guides to pay the cost. And that's it. I mean, that's the win, but it's so much easier to disrupt.
Yeah, here's how you do it. You counter their one spell that they just cast.
That's exactly it.
Whatever it is.
The thing about that is it's an all-in combo deck, so if they've got the AdNauseam, that's great, but if you counter the AdNauseam, they're kind of just done. Mm-hmm. A Splinter Twin deck can recover so easily because it's at its essence just a control deck with a combo kind of shoved into it.
Right.
And so
I think it is pretty regular, or was back in the day, to run the playsets of Splinter Twin.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, that's fine. But they could find that again pretty quickly.
Yes.
With being in control, you got your card advantage, card draw, all that good stuff. And they were just kind of safe a lot of the time. And AdNauseam's really not.
No.
It's really not safe.
It feels very kind of shaky every time you play it. I have the deck.
You're flipping a coin, really.
You are. And
I'm saying
it also got a lot worse with the banning of Gitaxian Probe. Let that be known.
That's very true.
We should mention, we should have mentioned this when we talked about what it is. There is a ban list. It's a pretty extensive ban list.
Pardon, yes.
But there is a ban list. You can't play Jace. Can't play Gitaxian Probe.
No Ponder.
Can't play Ponders.
No Brainstorm.
There's a lot of different things that you can't play.
Right.
There's a full ban list online. Anywhere you'll be able to find it.
Yes. We have a conversation about unbanning Jace, unbanning Ponder. Yeah. Vice versa.
Go watch that episode.
Yeah, go find that one. It's I like that one a lot.
I did too. It was a fun episode. So going into the last two decks, these are decks that right now we're seeing quite a lot of. One of them especially. But one of the other decks we just see kind of in different variations all the time, and that's Delver. Delver of Secrets being the namesake card. It's just a very fast, very aggro heavy deck that also has a lot of control elements. It's very, very strong, almost in every format that it's played, because you do see it in Legacy a lot and things like that.
In Legacy, Pauper,
Yeah, there's Grixis Delver, there's just Blue-Red Delver, there's plenty of variations of it. It's just a strong deck. The other deck that is at the top of its game right now is Death Shadow, which we actually looked up before this, and I thought it was more, but it's only 14% of the meta.
Yeah,
which is a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot, and I think it's more considering how many different decks are in played and viable.
Sure.
In Modern. But yeah, I definitely thought it was more edging towards 20.
Same.
So Death Shadow is a very aggressive control-y? How would you say it? Like, because Grixis Death Shadows is the main one.
Grixis Death Shadow is a lot more on the aggro end of things, I would say. There are definitely, like...
You still get your Thoughtseize, Snap.
You still get your Thoughtseize.
Some
you still
run
get
cryptic.
A lot of that.
Some have Cryptic.
You're right. But it's very much... If it's an all-in Death Shadow deck, it's a suicide deck is what you call it. And so you run Street Wraith just to give... You cycle it, lose 2 life, and you draw a card. You Thoughtseize, honestly, just because you lose 2 life. It doesn't really... You shock yourself with Shocklands all the time, solely to get your life down to a manageable total that pumps up the Death Shadow.
So Death Shadow is a card, again, more for new to the format. It is a 13/13 that gets -X based on your life total.
Right, and it costs 1 black mana.
Yeah.
So
that's nuts.
So that's the thing.
Yep.
It's very, very strong, very, very broken in a lot of fashions, I would say. But
yeah, you get so many things, and because you're pitching a lot to your graveyard, you're cycling Street Wraith, you're getting throwing fetch lands in there. You get to turn on stuff like Gromag Angler, Tassiger, which come in by exiling cards in the graveyard. Then you get to pay basically 1 black for a 4/5 or a 5/5.
And you can do that as easy as turn 2 or 3 fairly consistently. I have a Grixis Death Shadow deck. It's not a perfect list, but it's very, very close. And I know I've gotten Tassiger on turn 2 like kind of regularly. It's not every game, but it happens. And I know I've said this before, and I know I'm giving it a harsh comparison here. It feels to me a lot like a Legacy deck. I know it isn't, and I know it's not anywhere near on the same level as a Legacy deck, but when you're playing against decks like Tron and like Delver and things like that, to be able to do just so much stuff so quickly is kind of awesome.
No, I get that. Yeah, you get to play a lot of things. Quickly.
Yeah.
And scary things that aren't cantrips that just I don't know. Don't win you the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, to put out your win con turn 3, turn 4 feels pretty good.
Yeah. No,
that's nice.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
So very good deck.
Yeah, Death Shadow's scary.
Yeah. So current state. What kind of decks are we seeing right now? And how healthy is it, would you say?
Modern is, excluding any times you have those broken combos,
Sure.
it is a very healthy format.
I would agree.
And that's kind of how Modern thrives and how it's good, because you have such a large card pool, because you get to test so many avenues of possibility. Modern has always just been a very fun and open format, I'll say, especially now that we don't have Splinter Twin. They got banned like 2 years ago. No more Birthing Pod. No more Infect in its proclivity. No more Dredge. We didn't talk about Dredge.
We didn't talk about Dredge. That was a dominating deck, too.
Yeah, Dredge was insane. There is one of the weirdest decks out there, Manaless Dredge. Dredge with no lands.
Yeah.
Picture that, everybody. No lands in this deck.
That being said, Dredge is actually still a deck right now. So the namesake card, or the big Dredger, was Golgari Grave Troll, which was banned originally, then unbanned, and then like immediately banned again because it was deemed way too good. Yeah. Which it is. Dredge is a legacy deck. It's also, I think, a vintage deck. It's very, very strong. I know for a fact it's legacy. I'm not 100% on vintage,
I'm not
either. Basically you just dredge a bunch and win. Like, it's just so fast. It's so fast. You get a lot of graveyard interaction. The current deck runs things like Prized Amalgam, as well as Still Bridge from Below and things like that. That, of course, basically just get you tons of creatures, and you attack, and that's it. But you do it so easily and so quickly that Golgari Grave Troll just made that too easy. Yeah. So it's a lot more balanced now, I would say. I think it's still a very competitive deck, but it's not anywhere near as good as it was with the Grave Troll. So
yeah, Modern, healthy. And very, very fun. Standard, I enjoy because it feels very much like a game that requires like constant pressure, and I got focus and all this stuff. And I'm not saying you don't have to in Modern at all. You definitely do.
I was gonna say,
no, I'm not saying you don't do any of that in Modern. It's just it seems very fair, very on the board. Nothing crazy is about to happen. In Modern, that kind of goes out the window. Yeah, you get decks like Collected Company. My favorite deck.
Counter Company is a cool deck right now.
You get so many unlimited combos. I just get giddy thinking about it. So, Modern feels good because you get to do outlandish things.
No, you're exactly right. And I think it also, I think this sort of explains why I think it's a favorite of a lot of MTG players, is that you can do whatever you want in the format. There's a deck for everybody.
That's pretty fair.
There's a lot of aggro decks if you are just sort of on the beatdown plan. There's mid-range decks like Jund, or the Collected Company deck, I would say is sort of mid-rangey, that have some combos or is just outvaluing the opponent. You've got the combo decks like AdNauseam and Storm that are always there. And then, of course, your control decks with your heavy on the control end with some top end. And you get all of that in this one format, and you can always run into those fringe decks here and there, or those budget decks.
There are some weird brew decks. The cool thing about that is all of those different decks exist, and they're all viable.
They are. I mean, they're not necessarily tier 1, but you have a competitive game of Modern still.
I think so you watch a Pro Tour or a Greek Grand Prix, and they play Modern. Although they didn't used to play Modern on the Pro Tour, but they are now. Yeah, by the way. But you watch a professional game of Modern, and it can be something. You don't see the same two decks in the same cover match or
feature match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's great. Now, I guess in a top 8 that might change, right?
Sure. But no, of course.
It funnels and all that stuff. But yeah, you could see Reduke playing Tron. You could see Manguchi playing the Death Shadow deck.
You can see LSV playing Merfolk.
Fish. Who don't like good fish?
And that's the thing. I mean, there's just a deck for everybody.
Right. It's
and
cool.
While it is a generally more expensive format than something like Standard,
definitely.
If you are a collector of any kind, or you just have some money to put into it, I really like Modern as the format to go to. And so I would absolutely suggest it. And where and how are you going to play it? Is the next question.
Glad you asked. So like we mentioned, they are adding it to the Pro Tour. So the Pro Tour used to be limited rounds, a standard round followed by a limited round, and standard then limited again. I think.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
Sounds right.
Not 100%. So it was a draft and then a constructed format. Now they're adding constructed formats, modern and legacy to the Pro Tour, which is sweet.
I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It makes me want to watch the Pro Tour more. And I already love watching it, but
yeah, like to see the best players in Magic play
the best formats,
the fun formats. Yeah, modern's probably the best format in its accessibility and its competitive nature.
Sure,
I'll say.
I think I agree. Because it's accessible, right? Because a format like Legacy and Vintage, it's just too expensive for so many of the players.
Yes.
And while Modern is pretty expensive, it's not anywhere near.
I'd say average probably 700.
I would go between 8 and 1,000 actually. I think on the low end you get into the 600s. But I think on the high end you can be easily over 1,000.
And that's the thing though. There's so much on the low end right now.
Right now, yeah, but I know Death Shadow is kind of up there, and AdNauseam's not expensive, at least not too expensive. I think Pact of Negation is like the priciest card in that deck.
That makes sense.
But you do get a lot of cards like Fetch Lands. While they're not crazy expensive, they do cost usually between 15 and 20, upwards of 50, depending on what they are.
The lands are always going to, no matter what format, the lands are going to be the price.
Yeah, Shock Lands, 10 to 15. I mean, they're not too bad, but they're up there. You also, things like a lot of staples like Noble Hierarch is way too expensive right now.
Hierarch is insane.
If you're playing Tron, Karn is way too expensive. Liliana's very expensive.
Yeah.
So
Liliana's $100-some. So
is she that much right now?
Yeah,
I thought she was below.
I thought she was 110.
I thought the Modern Masters reprint dropped her, but anyway, yeah, it's a fun format.
Live.
You can always find budget lists for Modern, so if you do not have the money, just try building a budget deck. See how you like it. Try playing with it a little bit, switching out some cards, maybe upgrading over time. Because it's a non-rotating format, you have all the time in the world to build these decks. You don't have to do it overnight. So just plan ahead.
Okay, no, she's $90 at near mint. So.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. Not including shipping.
Where other places you can play it, a lot of local game stores, while not explicitly part of F&M, will do Modern tournaments. I know there's one in town that does some Modern tournaments during the week. Sometimes they do Modern Mondays, things like that. Also GPs, there's Modern GPs all the time too.
Oh yeah.
So you can play it. It's not quite as accessible as Standard, but it's there. You'll be able to find it.
You'll need to do a little more looking.
Sure.
And of course online.
Online's a great place.
That's kind of. Go ahead and assume
it's just always on there. But also just with your friends and your play group, you're holding a Modern Masters draft or something like that is always fun. Yeah. If you can afford a box of that, it's a great way to get into it.
Yeah, have players pitch in.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's a great way. It's usually a very good set, I would say. Although the second one wasn't quite as good.
Not as good, but it's still cool.
Yeah, the latest one was pretty great.
Indeed.
I got some good pulls on the latest one. Got a Tarmogoyf finally. And a Liliana, finally.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And like all of the fetch lands.
All the fetch. Ever. 4 Snapcaster.
4 Snapcaster, 2 of which are foil.
A+.
Getting in there. So yeah, their Modern Masters, I guess, comes out every other year, usually. Is that correct?
Since it's printing, I think
it's been every other year. So we just had one, obviously, this year. It'll probably be another year and a half, 2 years, somewhere in there before we see the next one. But we do have other sets coming out, like Iconic Masters, that'll feel the same.
We didn't talk about Lantern or 8-Rack, by the way.
That's a good point. So
those are your weird rogue decks that are
Lantern. Well, I'm going to talk about 8-Rack first, because 8-Rack is a perfect example of a budget-ish deck.
Yep.
That anybody can play, and it's actually competitive. It's not tier 1. Not by any means, but it's very good.
It did top 8 last year at a tournament, though.
It did top
at a Grand Prix.
And that just goes to show that the budget decks can pull out some wins. And as far as Lantern Control, I could talk at length about Lantern Control. It's one of my favorite decks in Modern.
Of course it is.
Because it's a prison deck, and I love prison decks.
That's so mean.
It is mean, but I'm a mean Magic player. The thing about it, though, is it goes to show that if you spend time brewing a deck, you can come up with something awesome. Because for those of you who don't know, and I don't remember the guy's name who actually brewed the deck, I believe his first name was Zach, but I could be wrong. Weird. Anyway, this tall. But anyway, he actually just brewed that deck and made it, and then it turned into this whole thing. It's its own thing now. Like, it's a great deck.
Very good.
Right? Yeah, it's such a beating.
It's not
without being a beating.
Yeah, that's it. It's not a beating. It's a suffocation. It's a constriction. That's a good
word for it.
It should be called Lantern Constrictor, and it'll never run Constrictor.
And it'll be a misnomer. Just have Constrictor, but not actually have it.
It feels like...
Put one in the sideboard just to say it's Constrictor.
It's so bad. Ugh.
All right, so we come to the final question. How are you going to get good at Modern? And really, we mentioned this last episode. It's going to be roughly the same for most formats. You just got to play it more. Online is a fantastic place to start. First of all, you can get the cards for cheaper. You can play test cheaper. And you just have accessibility to play any time that you'd like, as many times as you'd like, against a variety of different decks, which is exactly what you need to do to play test.
Right.
So I would say starting online is perfect. Starting in a play group is also good.
And Modern is really when you definitely, if you're making a deck, if you're just learning how to make a deck, you have to consider the speed of the format of the deck. Sorry, the speed of the deck, really. You'll hear a lot of professional players, if they critique cards, talk about cards in a set, say, oh, I think it's too slow for Modern.
Yeah.
I think it could fit in this deck, or it might be too slow for Modern. And that really speaks to the optimal turn of whatever kind of deck it is, right? You would never see Marvel played in Modern in Proclivity, just because not only is it not guaranteed very much that you roll into something good, although I don't know, there are a lot more hits in Modern.
Yeah.
It's easily shut down. You can sideboard pretty well against Marvel, and it has to happen on turn 4.
Yeah.
Right? And there's plenty of decks in Modern that win by turn 4 or before that. So you're looking for things that are viable very early on, or you are looking for ways to destroy that viability early on. So you got Hand Destruction in Thoughtseize, Inquisition, etc., etc. You have really efficient removal in Bolt and Path. Thinking about those things and understanding players are representing those cards, they might have them. Is your strategy resilient against?
And that's
whatever it is.
You bring up a really good point. When you do go to play test or just play for Modern in any way, you should know the staples. So for instance, if you're against a blue deck and they have 3 blue mana open with another land of any kind, they're representing a card, specifically Cryptic Command. You know, that's just a thing that you should know. If they've got a red open, they're representing Bolt. You just have to respect that. And that comes with playing the format more and watching tournaments and things like that. Having watched quite a lot of Modern, those are the cards that I most think about when I'm playing just any kind of game, honestly. But there's cards to think about. And so as you play and as you get better and as you get to the point where you'd like to be comfortable with playing, you will start to pick up on those, and you'll start to realize, okay, maybe they're holding up maybe a Remand or a Mana Leak, you know, maybe they're holding up a Fatal Push. It's just, you have to know and you have to respect that.
Absolutely. And learning the staples kind of just speaks to the meta of it. There are certain cards that are never going to leave Modern, and we just listed a bunch. Path, Fatal Push, which is kind of cool because Fatal Push got printed like
I like that, and that's neat, and that's a new card, and it's something that I think keeps Death Shadow at bay a little bit.
It keeps it from overwhelming the format. Because there's efficient removal.
Because Path works really well against it too.
Path is probably better because you don't get graveyard interaction afterwards. Yeah,
for sure. But I do think adding that to a black deck is so helpful. And so there are plenty of ways to deal with plenty of other cards in Modern, and I think that's another point too, that there's always an answer, right?
Yep, you're right.
I think in Modern you've got plenty of them, so things to think about as you get better and as you play test. I think that's about it. Do you have anything else you want to say about Modern? Go play it.
Definitely go play it. Build 8-Rack. 8-Rack's
it's
really
my
fun.
favorite format to play, only because I've never played Legacy or Vintage for real.
Nor have I.
But I really like Modern. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Modern's dope.
I enjoy it quite a lot more than Standard.
It is, yeah, it's more enjoyable than standard.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll never not argue that. It's definitely more fun than standard.
Because standard's terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not terrible.
I just like making you mad.
It's not bad. It's just modern's more fun.
All right. So with that, next week I'm sure we'll probably go to Legacy. Is that the plan?
Yeah. I'm flipping cards down. We haven't mentioned our...
I know, we have to talk about our sponsor very quickly.
Take my hands off.
So Grand Slam Comics and Collectibles. We just finished a giveaway with them.
Yeah.
We had a winner that won literally both Grand Slam and It Resolves, which we said in the start was possible. I didn't think it would actually happen, but he did. So congratulations to our winner.
Sorry.
And we do hope that you guys will participate in future giveaways, hopefully in tandem with Grand Slam.
Yeah, that would be very fun.
But again, we do want to thank them because they've provided so much support and so much help in the way of cards and things like that we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, we owe a great draught of gratitude.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what's your gold card?
Why don't you tell him? You got it last time.
Oh yeah, I got his Torment of Hailfire.
You know what, Kevin? Let it be known I forgive you.
That's fine. Mine's Fraying Sanity.
Let me talk about it.
You douche. I hate you so much. Why don't you tell him about it?
I'd love to.
God, you suck so bad.
Hold on. I forgot what it does. Let me read it. Enchant player.
You're the worst.
At the beginning of each end step, enchanted player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of cards put into that graveyard from anywhere.
Man, I wanted
this
it.
turn.
I'm so bad at you right now.
Kevin, I forgive you.
You're the worst.
I can't let you one-up me, Kevin.
Oh, you're the worst. Okay.
Not live.
Well, I didn't get it.
I didn't get mine either.
I got Ronas's Last Stand.
I do like it. I do like that card.
Yeah, so if you don't know, it's a sorcery for 2 green. It's part of the, your lands dual untap cycle.
Yeah.
It says create a 5/4 green snake creature token. Lands you control do not untap during your next untap step.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it in limited.
Oh, I think it's perfect in limited.
Do you?
Absolutely. I think it's better in limited than constructed for sure.
Probably, but I don't know. It feels weird to me. What's your pick? What are you doing?
So, my pack doesn't have a ton in terms of spell viability.
Wow, no. It really doesn't.
I do have good creatures though.
Yeah.
Right. So the two that stand out the most is Aven Reedstalker and Rampaging Hippo. I can speak.
The hippo.
Yeah, these are.
I mean,
these are awesome. Aven Reedstalker is just a fantastic limited card. I don't know if it's first pick or not.
I might get you back. By the way, I have a plan.
That's fine, Kev. Here.
No. Did you notice one of these cards I got in here?
Yeah, and if you don't pick it, you know you're wrong.
I'm thinking I might rip it in half.
It's fine, Kevin. Here's the thing about Unsummon, Kev. It's a common. I've got about 30
I just feel
of
like
them.
it would pain you to see that.
It wouldn't. I have way better Unsummons at home. I have foil original Unsummons.
All right.
That I keep.
I still want to rip it.
Do it. It's fine. You should keep it, though, because it's a good card.
I also have a crap ton of them.
I know. Because, again, it's a common.
If I ripped up this, would it bother you?
No.
Okay. Well,
Not really.
is there anything I could rip up that would bother you? Torment of Hailfire. Where's that?
Yeah, that would peeve me a little
Would
bit.
that really hurt?
That would take me off a little bit.
Right.
Anyway, sorry. My pick, probably the Hippo.
Yeah,
I think it's better than the Reedstalker because it's got Trample. If the Hippo didn't have Trample, it wouldn't be as good. But since the Reedstalker, I say that because the Reedstalker has hard to hit it. What's the word?
Evasion.
Thank you. So it's got flying. Could not think of the word.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
It's got evasion, but Rampaging Hippo has Trample, so it just kind of outclasses it because you don't just get to chump block a Rampaging Hippo. And again, that flavor text is A+.
All right, so as I said, I got Ronas's Last Stand. Other notable cards I got: Spellweaver Eternal is a solid common.
Definitely.
Not picking it. Unsummon, nope.
It's okay, buddy.
Doomfall and Unraveling Mummy. Unraveling Mummy is a cool build-around card, but I really like Doomfall.
You're telling me you're picking Doomfall over Unsummon?
Yes. It exiles a creature or takes a card from hand. That's so much better.
At sorcery speed for 3.
I don't care. It's exiling. Whatever. Anyway.
Didn't you pick it? Yeah. Exiles a creature he or she controls.
Yeah.
So if I got a guy with flash, let's say Pouncing Cheetah. Boop. I'm going to exile Pouncing Cheetah.
Who cares? You still exile it.
I
Let me unsummon it so you can play it next turn.
Again, you don't unsummon something just so you can play it. You don't do it just for
You do
fun.
as a tempo play.
Yeah, and to win.
Anyway. I don't know, actually, between these two.
Forgive. He knows not of what he speaks. Calm down.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I really like Doomfall, especially in Limited, but I think I would probably take The Last Stand.
Yeah, I mean, removal's great. I think there's
really good removal. In Limited, it's fantastic.
Because it's sorcery speed, I don't know, man.
But it doesn't have to be removal. It can also be hand destruction. It's lucrative. And I really like that.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's
pretty good.
Very
it's pretty
good.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's not unsummoned good, but it might be better than Last Stand good. Look, if you just think it's me saying this,
we're gonna poll. I'm gonna post on
Let's
Instagram.
Let's go, dude.
What's better, Unsummon or Doomfall?
Unsummon.
That'd be interesting to see.
Every day.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'd just be interested to see.
We can look it up right now, boss.
Who tested and polled that?
That specifically, no one. There's countless articles about why Unsummon is great.
That's just because it's an older card. Doomfall has just been printed.
All right. Unsummon was in when, like, Inquisition was in. When Thoughtseize was in.
Yeah.
Being drafted.
Inquisition and Thoughtseize are better cards than Unsummon.
I think you probably take Thoughtseize over it. Definitely.
You would.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
100%, yes.
I guess if it was for 3, it'd be bad, though. Unsummon's just so good. You gotta understand.
I think Unsummon's good. I think you're overrating it.
It's awesome. You play as many as you get, buddy.
Anyway.
Are you ever disappointed to see Unsummon?
If they're playing a control deck, yeah, terribly.
Why? They just land their bomb and then you send it to the Shadow Realm for a turn.
If their bomb isn't a creature?
Okay, Torment of Hailfire. That's like the only...
Torment of Scarabs.
It's not that bad, though. That's not like...
That's an annoying card in Limited.
It's annoying. It's not Torment good.
Well, it's literally the Torment effect every turn. So, I mean, it's not bad. Also, the Cycle deck with Amon Cap.
The Cycle deck.
The enchantment.
Oh, yeah. I got you, dog.
Like, I like Doomfall better. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm hurting you a little bit, but I also don't care that much.
I want you to... It's like I'm finished with my math homework and I'm trying to help you get there and you just can't understand.
That's because I'm in a higher level math class.
It's just, look, why is Unsummon one of the best cards in existence?
I'm glad you found a singular article that explains why it's the
best
card in existence.
All right, here's another one from Reddit. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm just...
I don't think it's better.
I'll lead you to the promised land, buddy.
Anyway, we're going to poll. All right,
it's fine.
Guys, I think we're going to get out of here so we can argue a little bit more.
That's fine.
My name is Kevin.
I've already won, Kevin.
No, you haven't. My name is Kevin.
My name is Will.
This has been It Resolves.